Under a week ago, I made a video on why Bitcoin was going to bounce and reach back into all-time highs. Since that time, this is where we were at when we made that video, 109,000 right here, the retest of previous all-time highs. If I get rid of that, get rid of the replay, you can see off that level, we are already back up from 108,000 back into 120,000. You can go watch that video if you don't believe me, but I'm going to show you exactly what you should be looking at and the signals in front of us that are going to push Bitcoin above 125,000 very soon. Again, the video was right here, and believe it or not, it was 3 days ago. And when we made this, it was actually our least viewed video on our YouTube channel. The least viewed one. I want to also say on top of this, you can go back and look again on Twitter. I also made the same post about that level, what was happening there as well. You got a little bit of a balance when I made the post, but still worth mentioning. Okay. Now it's all been there for you. All my links as well are down below if you are interested. So today we're going to be going into exactly why you're moving, why you're going to continue moving, and all the catalysts in front of you right now. Because if you look at everything that's happening, it's pointing to more upside. I mean, you just had a government shutdown and the market's still going insane. So those are all the things we're going to be talking about and what to expect. We'll go over a few more cryptos as well, but that's the big subject that we need to understand. And ultimately, if Bitcoin's going up, most of your other cryptos are going up. You know, that's the way this really works. So let's dive right into it. Now, number one, the chart speaks for itself. That's all you really need to know. But the major indicators out there are number one, your US M2, US money supply, which you have to do a high time frame, like a monthly or a daily chart here. And again, but you can see we're pushing our all-time highs. If you go out to something like the monthly, you get even a better view. As you zoom out here, you can actually see, again, this was our high back in 2022, which you most recently just broke. Also going into, you can see something like the IWM, which is a risk on versus risk off metric. Low mid cap names in the stock market are also getting ready to absolutely erupt here. So you have kind of a mix of two signals that are very bullish. Number one, your biggest risk on versus risk off index is popping off in the stock market. IWM, the Russell 2000. That's why you're seeing quantum, cheap tech names, names along the lines of Affirm, HIM, some biotechs are all going crazy right now, right? It's important to understand what's happening behind the scenes. On top of that, your US money supply. If you are unfamiliar, US M2, you can Google it for yourself. But basically what this is a metric of all the money that's flowing in the economy. You want this number to be going up, obviously, because more money flowing into the economy, the healthier it is. When money starts getting put back in the pockets, back in the banks, and you start taking your money out of the market, and that isn't just the stock market, that's buying new cars, buying new homes, mortgages, buying new items, spending more money on tech, your credit spending going up, all those things count towards the M2. So it's not just one overall metric, but when you start to see that number rise and continue rising, it signifies that the market is strong, whether you like it or not. I don't care if you think that, people are going into more debt. The point of the matter is the consumer is spending. If the consumer is spending, the market's in a good spot. Typically, okay? Important to understand that. So those are the two major signs that are erupting. And what's important is some people might be mentioning one of them, but they're not mentioning both of them. And that's just ridiculous. The next thing here too is the NASDAQ. And as you can see here, this is the NASDAQ clearly, but you can see you're going straight up, literally vertical, right? All-time highs nonstop. Go to the S&P 500, SPX, for instance, going straight up. So every area and facet of the market is ripping. Now, Bitcoin is just getting back into its previous all-time highs. It still looks really good, still tracking that upside momentum. Don't get me wrong, but you want to see more, and I definitely want to see more here. So Bitcoin has room if it starts breaking above really 120. To get back towards 124, 125. You get over that, you're going to start pushing to 130 in a hurry. Now we take a step even further. Well, what's happening with more of the risky assets? Well, number one, we'll go to Ethereum, right? And Ethereum, people were kind of panicking about the dip that you just had. But something that we always try to talk about here is if you go down quick, you can go up just as fast. If you go up quick, you can go down just as fast. And what's really funny here is you can actually see that you have that previous all-time high that you tested. You came back into your previous local highs, bam, bam, you're bouncing off of it and you're pushing right back up. In my opinion, this is setting up to get a breakout once again, but ultimately get above 5,000 for the first time on Ethereum, which would ultimately be very, very good. Now, the other step, more risky. So I'm going down the ladder of riskiness, right? Solana. And one thing I will say about Solana, which is a very, very similar chart, you almost tested your previous highs here. You came down, pushing back up. Solana and Ethereum represent meme coins and altcoins. I'm telling you right now. So when those names start breaking out, you start getting more opportunities in the meme coin altcoin space, which I don't really care if you trade them or not. I don't trade them that often, to be totally honest, and it's really glorified gambling. But what I will say is when those heat up, you start seeing money start dumping into the crypto market. So Solana, which has been my longtime favorite crypto, I believe this thing's going to go past $300 in a hurry. I just do. I've been saying it for a long time. It's my favorite crypto. I think it's going to outperform Ethereum. That's my quick pitch right there. From that, XRP, which I would say is the most well-known altcoin in the world right now. XRP, pretty amazing, all things considered. And I like to use past data and just what's kind of happened. Now, this is, I think, the steadiest crypto has ever moved, in my personal opinion, over the course of the past year and a half, give or take. You literally, since November 2024, just consistently kind of gone up here. If you go to something even more lines like Solana, this is a better metric for more of the altcoins, things along those lines. You started running in 2023 and you're just making those like higher lows, continually pushing up here. This is just healthier overall movement. Now, I do think there will be a time when crypto has a bigger dip again. It always happens. It'll eventually come. But right now, again, you're still setting up for that initial real breakout. And I think Solana and Ethereum are going to be the big signs of when the altcoin and meme coin market really catch fire. If you thought they were crazy this past year, it's not going to mean anything compared to what you're going to get when you see Ethereum specifically get the breakout, which it hasn't had a breakout going all the way back to 2021. So again, things could get absolutely insane. And for some reason, people aren't talking about this right now. Again, we're lining it up not just with feelings, emotion, and what we want to happen in the market and get rich quick. That's not the focus of this, right? Although I will say there's one area in the market where you can like strike gold in a hurry. It's crypto. I will tell you that right now. But when we're looking at this, it's more, I'm trying to back it up with as much logic and reason as well. Now, some of it I will agree. You're not always going to have reason. You're not always going to have logic. But what I will say right here is everything I'm saying has a little bit of logic backing it as well. If you have questions on anything I'm saying, something I could be saying is wrong, I'd love to go over it, give you my feedback on the next video, something along those lines. But again, that's just where I'm at right now and what I'm thinking. But again, you look really solid here also. Now, you know, one step, what I will say, one of the biggest catalysts here moving forward is your 20 and your 10-year yields, and specifically the bond market. So the 30-year yield, you kind of came back up, rejecting, pushing back down. And this pertains, if you're unfamiliar with rate cuts and what's happening there with the Fed. Now, we all think the Fed is going to continue cutting based off of their words and based off of data that's coming out. Very important to understand. But as you see yields continue to track down, the 10 and the 30, the more and more, I believe, healthy the market does look, because again, if the yields continue dropping, again, it's going to position the market for more of a risk on metric, which means more money is being dumped into the market again. And where you'll see that specifically is going to be IWM and the M2 money supply. Now, another big metric for people to think about is what's happening with the interest rates on mortgages. And again, this will only benefit the M2 money supply. So again, going back over the last year, you can see mortgage rates are dropping, and you're going to see, in my opinion, the beginning of the year, people start getting their income tax. You're going to see a flood of people buying new homes. Again, once you see the interest rates below 6% on your fixed 30-year conventional mortgage, not even FHAs, it's going to really heat the market up, because then even FHA, you're going to be getting low fives, maybe even in the fours at that point, which really heats up the market as well, which again comes back all the way into the M2 supply, meaning more people are putting money in the market and trying to get more out of it. So very important to understand these metrics that are happening, because it's not just looking at a crypto chart and saying, oh, Eric Trump said we're going to the moon. Yay. But there's actually reason and logic behind all these things as well. So again, if we track that down the line, I think you're in a very good position. It's also worth mentioning, this has literally happened over the course of like 72 hours, or maybe 5 days, give or take, roughly 5 days, right? From the 29th till right now. Well, no, that's 72 hours, give or take. So again, that bounce off of 108, 109, taking us straight back up. Now, I will say in the short term, I do anticipate a little bit of resistance as we approach these highs up here near 122, 124.5. But I believe if we break above this, you're going to move aggressively, and you're already seeing all the buying just taking place. You know, looking at the volume here as well, it's not really a crazy uptick. You are seeing a little bit of an uptick, but it's nothing insane. And this is as we're going into quarter four, which is typically one of the best quarters we have throughout the year. Now, again, when we look at this quarter, it's important to understand October is usually the hiccup if we get any. So if we can have a strong October, it's highly likely November, December are going to be very, very strong. Again, October is usually that tough month for us. So what I'd be doing, what I'd be watching there. So again, as we look at this, you're in a very, very good position. Cheaper cryptos I'd be watching, giving you just a few names. Again, just some of the ones I'm watching. Don't, these aren't call outs by any means, just some of the cryptos I'm always watching. Number one, HBAR. Again, I like HBAR a lot where it's at. It's very strong. Market cap is at a good spot too. HBAR USD, give you a price. 20 cents to 22 cents. I think this is a buying opportunity. This can easily get back into 35 to 40 cents. Again, that's just my mindset. I think it's a really good position, and it's benefiting off a lot of the Trump policy as well as far as these American cryptos fits the bill. Obviously, XRP. I don't know if you're going to get another opportunity at $2. That's been your biggest support. 2.5, 2.7 would be a buying opportunity. I don't know if that's going to happen. You're buying close to highs, so I wouldn't get crazy. XLM also falls in that category of the American cryptos. But really when I'm looking at these is, number one, do I think you can get back into your all-time highs? Number two, how close are you and how aggressive has your recent sell-offs been? XLM is actually holding up very consistently. I think this can get back towards ultimately 60 cents, possibly your previous all-time highs in your 80 cents to 89 cents. It could get crazy. What I really like about some of these names, again, like I said, is how you're holding up and making higher lows on the higher time frames, not the shorter time frames. I don't care about those. I care about the higher time frames because, again, when the money dumps back in, it starts getting more aggressive in these names. I think these are going to be the big winners out there. So, again, not a crazy amount of names, nothing that I'm like getting super risky on. I'll have more stuff posted here as well, obviously getting a little bit more aggressive on some of these names, but again, what I'm watching right now. A quick update too from last night's video on the market, what we're looking at and kind of how we're moving. Number one, Kava, some of our mid cheaper stocks getting some love back to the upside. Kava bouncing off of 58 back into $64 here. Worth mentioning, if you guys want to see what we're trading, how we're trading every single day, the Discord link is down below. Again, those contracts we entered, just giving you a heads up, literally entered them yesterday at 4.5, 4.6. Those contracts ended up reaching over $6 already here on the day. Again, those are for January. If we went shorter dated, we would have made more money. But I think this has room back to 68 to 70. So really nice there. SMCI still in the middle of the gap, has opportunity back into $56, $55. HIMS kind of slowing down, but sitting at that resistance still looks pretty strong. One name that I hadn't really mentioned, and SoFi, I'll do SoFi as well. Again, inching towards one of the buy zones, 24.9, 24.8. One of the stocks I haven't mentioned has been Intel, but again, continues to rip to the upside. Resistance here at $37. If we can get above this, it looks really good towards 42. Strong name, what I'm watching. If you have any questions, comment down below. See you guys next time. Follow for more content and video coming out later.